Today we are in the ghost town of Rowley, Alberta, Canada. We got the community hall. It's still being used. I think this town was used for 3 different movies. Old hospital in the ghost town of Rowley.
You have reached your destination.
It's not necessarily what you would expect. It's a very well maintained town. And they have fundraisers going on. I think every third or every last Saturday of the month it's pizza night, and they collect some funds, and whatever funds they collect is helping the remaining residents, which is anywhere between 8 and 12, to maintain the town and keep it up. So it's not the typical ghost town where you may think you have all these buildings that are all fallen down and in pretty rough state. It's a very well manicured town, but I got a lot more info here. I hope you can hear me. It's a pretty windy day, so I may end up with doing some voiceover then. It's about 17. It's June the 1st, and windy, typical Prairie, Alberta day. But anyways, let's get this walking tour started. Here we got the community hall. It's still being used and active as of today. You can also camp in the area. I think there's some camping here. See, no camping and camping. They're 2 different areas. So if you plan to come here and you're from far away, you can actually stay here overnight. So let's turn around and check out the main street first. This is the Rowley trading post, established 1920. No, I think in the month of July, August, but you got to double check on that. They may sometimes even have tours that you can go inside these buildings, because normally, just like now, they're actually locked. The Telegraph office, a very old drink Coca-Cola sign. Let's see if we can have a little bit of a peek in here, or if we have too much reflection. No, I think we can see some stuff here. Old store. On this side, here we go too. Peanut dispenser, 10 cents. Some old signage. Niagara Dry Ginger Ale up here. I don't even know if that name is still around. Guess the old Saloon. I step back a little bit so I can see this a little bit better. That's the guess the old garage / gas station. Lion tires, oils. I think this has been reconstructed, I should say. And who remembers these old gas pumps here? There used to be a glass, it's just the cage left, and it was gravity fed. Got the lever here, you pump the fuel, and on top you see some numbers, 9, 10, 8, 6. To believe that would have been gallons, and then it was gravity fed back into your vehicle. And if anybody is interested, this was manufactured by Gilbert and Parker out of Springfield, and I think nowadays it's called Gilberto. Little house back here, and here we have the funeral home. Now I can't remember, I have to double check then and what exactly it was with this building here. I think it's rebuilt, or it showed up or was used in some of the movies that have been shot in this town as well. And yes, you heard me right. There are actually 3 of them. Let's see what it says here before we get... Oh, here we go. So I was kind of on the right track. If we read on this here, funeral home and pool hall. This was a movie front left from the movie Bye Bye Blues. The community made into a building then and just kept it. So I was on the right track. Let's see if we can see something in here. We may have too much reflection. Here we go. Not too much to see, but that's what that is. Now across the street here is the old Rowley United Church. And as I said, mostly it's all locked up. So most of these buildings are also still owned by other people that are still remain. Please be respectful when you're here and look at these things. Just want to go down here real quick. That's by the way, the main street we are on here. But I just want to double check this building here. I can't think of it at the moment what it was. Probably a general merchant store. No, it says bank. Look at that bank. So must be the old bank building. Let's go and have a closer look on here. Oh, this was also a movie front from the same movie, Bye Bye Blues again, and then was turned into a building around 1990. So let's go and see what we can see. If anything in here, you may see just my reflection. Here we go. Here we have the church again. Now I was saying, I think this town was used for 3 different movies. One was, as I said, Bye Bye Blues, and another one that's maybe more known, a bit more recent, was Legend of the Fall, with some famous actors in. I think one was Brad Pitt in his younger years, and there was a 3rd one, but I just can't think of it right now, but I'll let you know a little bit later here, once I'll double check on that. But let's move on here and I'll show you another really cool building here. Now as we come up the street here, believe it or not, around the turn of the century, and that was the 1900s, that was actually a hospital. So that's an old hospital, hard to believe. I like these old buildings. This is, in my opinion, one of the coolest buildings in town, in the ghost town of Rowley. And when we turn around, we got the Municipality of Starland, number 307, office 1920 to 1943. Before we walk down here, let's try to get another good shot of this. Well, we're going to go over to my right here in a little bit. There are still some of the grain elevators left. We'll check them out in a bit. We're just going to walk the circle here. It's a neat old little building here. And as I said, it says private property by the way there, so again, don't just walk in. A quick angle on that hospital just from the back side. I assume at one point in time there used to be more houses, because the town had, again, depends what you look up or you read up, have anywhere between 300 to 500 people living here. That was around the 1920s. And then by the time the 1930s rolled around with the Depression and the 30s with the droughts, that pretty much spelled the end of the town. We have a little bit of a view out to the prairie. Hard to see without glasses. But so, what do you guys think of this town? Yeah, it had I just mentioned it a while ago there, it had about 300 to 500 people around 1920. The hospital there is from around the 1900s it was built. That's that cool looking wood house. I think it's one of my favorite with the way it looked. It has this certain ghostly feeling about it, I guess. Since we're in a ghost town, I guess that's a fitting term. But other than that, in the 1920s and 30s, with the Depression and the 30s, the people left. And right now it has about 8 to 12 permanent residents left that maintain it. That's why it's not like a typical ghost town where you may expect, you know, broken down buildings and everything. That's why the grass is mowed and it's all maintained. And they also do some pizza night here every last Saturday of the month. And the funds they collect, the proceeds, then they use to maintain the buildings and try to keep it current. I think here we have an old barn left standing. I'll just look up here a bit and let's just have a look here. Doesn't that look neat? All right, let's walk on a bit and see. Have a quick look back. If you keep going east here, what I'm looking at, eventually you'll end up in Saskatchewan. Grain elevators left. Old abandoned home on this end. At least I think it's abandoned. Most likely it is. Here we see that old barn from the front. We got 3 grain elevators. They are becoming scarce in the prairies these days as well, as they slowly not being used and fall in disrepair or actually even being torn down. Days long gone by, it used to be a typical prairie town that had these elevators and made it easier to find the towns as well. But looks very nice. As we walk down here, we see that other cool house down there, that old hospital again. think so far it's kind of my favorite. Well, I think kind of the buildings with the most character to it, again, one is that big house, that wood construction with what was the old hospital, and the other one I think is the one back here, the barn we just looked at, with a lot of character as well. This building I just showed you a minute ago from behind, it's the Prairie School Museum, and looks like it was from 1911 to 1951. Gonna walk up front and see if I can check out these grain elevators from the front a bit too. But before I do so, we'll go and check out the old train station as well, which I guess was the lifeblood of these communities back then. Oops, I better watch where I'm walking and what I'm stepping on here. Here we have a moose, and that over there, gonna have a look at from the front, is the old train station. Just the times this is open too. It says on this old train car, it says Yesteryear Artifacts Museum. Actually, I think the door is open on this one, so let's go and have a look in this. I'm just gonna climb in here and see. So this is open. Let's go in. It's a bit dark, but I think you can see it. It's just some older artifacts here. Older stove here in the corner. Have a sharpening wheel, which is the sandstone. Have a look this way. The old, I think this is an old stove here. Well, that's about it for here. So let's head over to the train station. All right. Imagine at one point a little bit of a hustle and bustle here, a little bit, when the trains came in and people arrived and people departed. But it's long gone. Let's have a look here. Train 625 goes north and 626 goes south. Leaves daily, looks like once a day. But last day, that's a long time ago. Oh, let's look up here. You've probably seen it earlier, but the signaling from the old days, I guess, for the trains. Ha! Interesting. I'm not sure what this exactly is I'm looking at, but the rest is just a track down the prairies, eventually ending these days in nowhere. Imagine sometimes, just like I stand here now, people were standing here looking up and down the track, waiting for the train to arrive. Well, I just want to head over and look at these grain elevators from the front. Now, while I'm wandering over here, and you know of old places, ghost towns, and anything else, and you want to have them checked out, or just something you can also recommend, well, leave me a comment and we may and we are around in the areas, just drop by and check it out as well, especially if that is something you like to see. So let us know. Well, here we are, kind of up front with these grain elevators. They look very well maintained as well, just like the rest of the town. Here we are. Then I guess if I look around here a little bit, I see the old machinery. And then here, it's so windy, I have trouble holding the recording more or less stable. Just a view out into the prairie again, this time to the west. So if you keep going west here, you end up, well, eventually Calgary, and then you get into the Rocky Mountain House. Well, not Rocky Mountain House, Rocky Mountains. Well, if you keep going north, you get Rocky Mountain House as well. But you get Calgary, Canmore, Banff, Lake Louise. Oh, we're heading back to Main Street again. And here we have the train station one more time. I guess this building here a little bit to the side was the Threshing crew bunkhouse from 1920 to 19. Let's see if I can go up here a little bit. Yeah, it's solid enough. I claim it's the modern version of the pulled by horses RV. So of these machines you see back there, these people probably would have worked with these machines, which makes sense here over at the grain elevators. Here we just have another look a little bit further away, so it's just kind of like a very small cabin. Well, I hope you like what you see. Suggestions, or as I mentioned already, other places you would like us to go and check out and bring back to your living room, let me know. I guess we're at the Rowley cemetery and just outside town a little bit, and if you look over there, it's easy to tell. You see the 3 grain elevators, that's where the town is. So I guess in a way I can say it's a view of the town where they lived.